Have you ever found that when all else fails, read the manual? Really? Most 99% of the time it works when you pull out the manual and you read it, you pull out the book, and you find out you can put it together, that lamp, that that bench, chair, whatever you bought. It really helps, because otherwise when you don't read it, you sort of look at things, oh yeah, this will work, this will go here, this will go there, and you put this together, and you put maybe this whole cabinet together, and once you get almost 75-80% done, you find that, well, where's this piece going to go? And how about that piece? Now the screws, you've ended up with all these screws, and you really don't have quite the ingredients, and you get so mad at those companies. You say, well, I know this came out of Japan, or came out of the Japanese, came from the Japanese, and they didn't really know how to read directions. They didn't put everything in the kit. And then you go back and you find out, well, you're really supposed to use this screw, particularly here, and this piece of wood that you thought was going to go over here at the end really had to be put in at the beginning. And then you say to yourself, well, next time I'll read the instructions, right? What I wanted to explain this morning, since we decided to, and I thought it was a tremendous idea, I'm not sure who came up with it, I forget now, it was just a consensus of the club, but we decided to take our meeting from a minute, an hour and a quarter, down to an hour. And in that sequence of events, I think we really need to tighten our boundaries so we can accomplish all that we want to accomplish. And of course, the main thing, of course, is trying to start right at that 7:30 hour. I know John and I, we come from way over in Palm Harbor, Tarpon Springs area, so we've had to adjust our time so we can make sure we get here on time to show up, help to set up. We were running a little late. Morty was thankfully here early this morning and was able to set us up quite well. And a lot of us haven't read the manual, so let me just go over the sequence of events. Toastmaster comes on, has a theme for 2 to 3 minutes. They just share for about 2 to 3 minutes their theme. They can either, if they know their theme beforehand, they can email it to everybody. We can all try to get on the same page. In some clubs, what happens is the Toastmaster and the table topics person is a lot of times in the same agenda, so their theme can be the same as far as asking the questions they ask. And in particular, stay with that theme. If they want to do their own thing, that's fine too. That happens quite frequently. Toastmasters are usually, we're doing it by the manual, by the books, and they usually time speeches, and our timer, who is John Cushman this morning. Speeches are usually 4 to 6, 5 to 7, unless we have maybe an 8 to 10. Once in a while we get some big ones, 15s, 30s. I think because we've got a time crunch now, I think probably the big ones should be put down into maybe make it a 2-part or maybe even a 3-part speech, if they tend to be about a 30-minute speech. That's my opinion anyway. The evaluators, I think since now that we've got the little love notes to do, and I'll order some of those today. What happened yesterday, I've been out of my own pocket, I've been putting all the money, with checks that have been coming in for all the memberships, I've been putting them into the account. David gave me the card, the bank card, but what happened was that when I went to use it to withdraw money from, my putting money in, I used the code, did what I was supposed to do, put it in the slot, let's get a cash withdrawal. It wasn't working, and he has a time crunch with his job. His mother's sick now. He's gone to hospice. So we were finally able to get together yesterday, and I went to the bank. They're going to mail me out the card soon. I was able to get reimbursed for some of my funds, but I think this week I'll go on. I'm leaving on Friday. I'll be gone for 2 weeks in the Philippines, so you guys are going to have to carry on. And John and Morty, and then you guys pick up the slack and take over. You guys like to say I've been gone for 2 weeks.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, thank you. I'll try to come back on one of these. Philippines is pretty safe, mostly English speaking. It's like, I guess like in India, a lot of English speaking. And so what happens is after the Toastmaster next comes up, after the speaker sits down, Toastmaster comes up, and then usually about asked the timer again to time the love notes. It's really not supposed to be books. It's supposed to be about a minute. We're supposed to have about a minute, just about a little love note, a little comment, and then we collect those and pass those down to the person who was the speaker. It's kind of nice to get all that feedback. It's kind of like going round robin sometimes, like we do for a person who's going to a contest. After the sequence of events, we have our speakers, we have our evaluators, and we go into table topics. Table topics, when you come up here, I guess we've got to figure out, I know when we had the old meeting, the way our old format was, we always had about around that 7:30 time, we had a cutoff, because we had to fill in the rest of our evaluators and also our, part of our tag team. Now that cutoff time for the table topics, I guess it's probably going to be right around quarter after the hour. Yeah, and it always depends, of course, how many. If we have 3 evaluators, we might have to be maybe 13 after. So we're there for table topic this morning. I guess this is only 2 speakers. Probably 8:15 will be your time, Patrick, to watch for. Once we get this figured out where all the times are, then we'll make up a schedule, make an agenda, or we stick with this agenda and just roughly remember what our times. Wow. Time goes by fast when you're having fun. Table topics person, when you're doing table topics, basically you ask a question. Sometimes if people give up and give speeches before they ask a question, it just eats up too much time. It should just be a little sentence or two to bring up your question you're going to ask. General evaluator, of course, evaluates not the speakers, but the general evaluator takes 2 or 3 minutes after he introduces the tag team. They do their job. The general evaluator comes up and for 2 or 3 minutes just evaluates the meeting as a whole. General evaluator does not evaluate the speakers. That's done by the evaluators, but the general evaluator can evaluate the evaluators. And then we wrap it up, and hopefully we're roughly on time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arnie. Follow the instructions and use the manuals. We got an email out, except for our newer member here. And I'm forgetting your name one more time. Anthony, I should know this. You and I have met now at least twice, not 3 times. I apologize. And it's wonderful to... Please join me in welcoming John Hobbs as he gives us a toast.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us this lovely morning on this special occasion. I would like to ask each and every person in this room to grab their glass and to rise, with the exception of Kathy.
Wow.
We're here this morning to celebrate and give a toast to Kathy Potts. She came into our club. She immediately assessed some weaknesses, and given her skills and abilities, she has helped each and every person in some way go to a better level. She does not give opprobrious feedback. She's very eloquent in the way she teaches, even when you try to breathe and speak at the same time. She's very detail-oriented when it comes to evaluating each and every person. She gets to areas and points and focuses on things most of us miss. That comes from years of practice and expertise. She's about to become the National Speakers Association of Central Florida's president in another month, I believe. And even with a full plate like that, and that's a full plate, if you haven't ever been to a meeting, you understand. She is taking her time to help this club so we can be a distinguished club and go to the next level. That being said, I'd like everyone to give cheers and a toast to Kathy Potts. Hey.
Cheers. Cheers. Kathy Potts.
Doesn't
Thank you.
the person being toasted give a reply?
Oh, not according to that, but you can, yeah,
Okay.
maybe with like,
Thank you.
Do we still
I read
stand?
someplace that if you're being toasted, it is customary that the person being toasted give gratis to the person doing the toasting. And so I say thank you very much for noticing the way in which there is a reason here to invest and for taking your time to better yourself by using what it is I'm bringing to this club to go ahead and hail. So thank you very much. The toast to John.
Here, here.